foam roller. Just remember it is an unstable surface, so it is going to be more challenging even with some of our basic exercises. So go slow and think more about control rather than trying to move through the exercises fast. We are going to start lying on it. So you want to sit with your bum right at the end of the foam roller, and as you roll down, making sure that your head is on the foam roller and your entire spine is connected. Now the first time when you get on here again, just steady yourself, pause yourself, and find that balance point. Alright, now from here we're going to start with some floor angels. So starting by letting the knuckles in the back of the hand be nice and heavy on the carpet, and just sliding them out to the side as far as you can until you feel the stretch come across your chest, and then sliding them back down. So I don't need you to get them all the way up over your head because then you're actually lifting your arms. I want you to let the arms be heavy, melt into the floor. And right now I'm getting a really strong stretch across the chest because I thought it would be a good idea to do some push-ups yesterday. And then come back down again. So this is a really nice way of opening up your chest, especially if you've been sitting at your computer all day. And then from here we're going to take it into some arm arcs. So we're going to float the arms up towards the ceiling and then just float them gently over your head, but once again without losing that connection of the ribs, so keeping them in a neutral position and then bringing the arms back down again. And we're going up and over. This time, as you come back towards the ceiling, I want you to pause here. We're going to take them in alternating arm arcs. So one will go down by your side and one will arc over your head. As you return back to the center, be mindful that you've got space around your head and shoulders, that your shoulders are not creeping up near your ears. And then we'll come back to pause in the center. And here we're going to do a little bit of work on our shoulder girdle. So we're going to reach up as if we're trying to touch the ceiling. Notice that the shoulder blade comes away from the roller, keeping the elbow straight, drawing the shoulder back down and hugging the roller. Inhale as you reach up and down. And up. It's protraction as we're reaching forward and retraction as the shoulder blade is drawing back down. And pausing there. So keeping the shoulders now connected, interlace the fingers, hands behind the head. We're going to take this into a chest lift. Our range will be smaller now because we're going to be limited by being on the foam roller. So we take a breath in and we peel through the head, neck and shoulders as we curl up into our chest lift. Inhale here and then exhale back down. Try and stay grounded through both of the feet, that we're not rolling from side to side on the roller. Good. Keep going, but what I like to think about is that as I'm curling up, my ribs are gliding down towards my pelvis and my abdominals are drawing in. They're not pushing up and then back down. Trying to keep the hip flexors nice and relaxed so there's no movement through the pelvis. And then coming all the way back down. From here, take your hands down by your side. We're going to move into some bridging. Again, your range is going to be limited because you are on the roller. I'm just going to move my feet a little bit wider so that on the mat or completely on or off the mat. We inhale as we prepare. We exhale. We start with our pelvic tilt. And then we roll as we peel the spine up away from the roller. Inhale here. Now the reason I like the roller is on the down phase. Can you feel each vertebrae imprinting into the roller as you roll down one at a time? Come back to neutral, inhale. And exhale as you initiate with the curl. We're pressing downwards through the heels as you engage the hamstrings and the glutes. You're rolling up into your bridge. And rolling all the way back down. My hands are a light touch on the carpet. They're not a death grip, so try not and make sure that your shoulders are not rounding forward. And this will be our last one here. Alright, now from here we're going to move on to our dead bugs or our single leg lifts. From here we're going to stay nice and steady. So again, if you need to, you might have hands on the pelvis, you might have hands on the ground. Trying to keep the body nice and steady. We're going to take a breath in and exhale. The knee will float up into our tabletop position and then we lower it back down. Can you be nice and steady on the foam roller whilst you change legs and then exhale. Once again, I don't mind if you change your breathing pattern. Do what suits your body best. Some of you might even like to go palms up. It might open up your shoulder girdles better. Can we hold here? Now we want to progress this. Can you bring that second leg up? Steady yourselves. Take one leg down. Take the second leg down. Let's change the legs now. Lead with the opposite leg. Then bring the second leg up. Hold. From here, let's go into some femur arcs or some toe taps. Now remember, you are on an elevated surface, so there's no need to touch the ground. Only exhale, lower the leg down as far as you can maintain your neutral spine. And return. So you can see I am going slower than I normally would, and that's because I can feel the foam roller challenging my stability, challenging my core control to stay nice and steady. From here, we're going to lower down one leg at a time. Reset. And now we're going to add a challenge. We're going to go opposite arm and leg. So I'm going to float my left leg and my right arm, and I'm going to hold. I'm going to extend the arm and leg out. I'm going to bring the arm and leg back in, and then lower them down. And alternate sides. One arm and leg lifts up, pause, extend out, draw it back in, and down. Now you can stay at that level. If you want to challenge though, you could bring both legs up into tabletop. I'm still just going to move the opposite arm and leg. So my right leg is going to stay steady as I float my right arm up. Now I move the left leg and the right arm. And I would do that same side maybe 3 or 4 times. Lower the arm down, float the opposite arm up. Oh, I can already see this is more challenging on this side for me. And then extend the opposite arm and leg out. And that's quite common. You might find one side you're nice and stable on, and the opposite maybe not so much. And that's actually the side we need to work on a little bit more. And then lowering the arm and leg down, and all the way down. Alright, so from here we're going to roll off to the side and just do a little commando roll as you come off. Turn your roller onto the side, and just because I love doing some thoracic mobility, we're going to do a little bit here. Always grab your ponytail if you've got one because you don't want to get it trapped. Starting high, so the higher you start, the easier it is. We're going to inhale, and we're going to just gently lean back over the roller, mobilizing and opening up our thoracic into extension, and then coming up. The coming up is not a crunch, it's just to come up to release the tension on the spine, and then we'll go again. And if that feels okay, what I want you to do then is move maybe 1 or 2 vertebrae down. and then we go again. This is not a timed exercise, there's not how many reps, it's more about you feeling this exercise. So if you go, oh, this feels easy, then I might move again. If you're going, no, this feels really painful and it's really challenging, then stay there, work through that. You don't need to force it on your body. So I always go, maybe from myself personally, about my mid-back, my bra line, that's the stiffest area for me. But you may have to work towards that. Remember, I'm quite mobile. Now from here, we're just going to do a little bit of releasing by lifting up your bum. You're going to roll from the top of your shoulders down to the bottom of your rib cage and then back up again. So it's a nice massage on the thoracic spine. Now, for a little bit of a challenge, we're going to go into our roller into a spine twist. So this is quite an advanced exercise and we are going to use the foam roller. If you don't want it, just pop the roller off to the side. So we're going to start lying on our backs, holding onto each end of the roller with the roller just above your head. We're going to start by curling into a chest lift. As you roll up, roll into your spine stretch. Now we restack and we float the arms above our head, shoulder blades gliding down. Take a breath in and we twist. Come back to the center. Now keeping the roller above your head is much more challenging, so bring it back to chest level and now we scoop and roll as you articulate all the way back down and we roll up into our spine stretch, we restack, shoulders down and rotate. And we'll come back to neutral and we'll stay here. Now again, sitting in a neutral position, so if you find that you're quite slumped and tucked through your pelvis, I want you to bend your knees a little bit or grab a towel and hop it underneath your sit bones. Ideally, we want to be really sitting up tall in our sit bones. Foam roller on your shins, we're going into a spine stretch. So sitting up nice and tall, I'm going to take a breath in. I gently nod the head, the shoulders naturally round, but I'm scooping through the abdominals. Imagine I'm curling over a beach ball. Good. Hold there, breathe into the back and sides of the ribs, and exhale, engaging the abdominals. We scoop to restack the spine to sit nice and tall. Now this is not a hamstring stretch, so if you're feeling it in your hamstrings, please use a bolster, sit on a towel, find something that you can get your pelvis that little bit higher. Bend your knees if you have to. So I want you to think about, we're trying to mobilize our spine into flexion, into a deep C curve. And then all the way back up. Take the legs a little wider now. We're going to add it into our saw. So we're going to start with one hand in the middle of the roller. The other hand reaches behind me as I rotate. And I'm trying to look towards this back hand. And then I'm going to come up. And then to the other side. If I want a little bit more, I bring the hand towards the foot. So as I go down, I'm reaching towards my toe. And then come back up. I'm trying to get rotation and flexion through the spine. And then just come back to the middle and just do a nice spine stretch. And then we restack. Now I'm going to lie back down, but this time, place the roller underneath your feet. Adjust your tights if you need to. Alright, now I'm not going to lie, this is going to challenge your hamstrings, so if it's too much, please do it with your feet on the ground. I don't mind whether you want to go heels, arches or toes, work to what suits your body best. And we're going to start by doing a bridge from here. So I want you to take a breath in, curl and roll up, and then roll back down. And you can already feel that challenge puts an increased load already on the hamstrings. This time as you stay up, can you stay there? Keep the pelvis level. You're going to roll out and then roll back in. And then roll out and then roll back in. So it's using the hamstrings, the back of my legs, to draw the roller in and out. And hold, and then roll back down. Now, where I went wrong then was the roller was going over the edge of the mat and it was a bit challenging. So make sure you either get completely on or off the mat so it's not too clunky with your foam roller. Continue to bring the roller now underneath your pelvis. So you want it across what we call the back of your pelvis, your PSIS, all those bony dimply bits. And I want you to start by hugging your right knee into your chest and just letting your left leg reach it nice and long away from you. Press that left heel down, and what I'm getting here is a nice stretch opening up through the front of this hip flexor. Now I do need my core on because otherwise I'm going to arch through my lower back. So that's where sometimes we go wrong. When we think we're doing a stretch, we just let everything flop. We still need to stay contracted through certain areas so that we don't hurt ourselves. I'm going to lower the right leg down, slide the left one in, and then extend that right leg out. I normally hold a stretch for about 30 seconds and then come back. All right. So we're going to place the hands on the roller just so it doesn't roll away from you. And I want you to bring your legs up into tabletop. Now from here we're going into a bit of a scissors bicycle action. So I'm going to start by straightening the legs. And from here, one leg is going to open towards me as the other leg extends away. Inhale as I bring them back and exhale. So what I'm looking for is lengthening through the front of this hip, but lengthening also the opposite hamstring. Let's move it now into our bicycle. So we're going to bend the knee and we're going to extend over. Now really feel like our leg is reaching away from us. So we're using the back of the hamstring as we extend. Try and get both legs nice and extended before you start the movement again. And then we'll return back to tabletop. And from here, we're going to work towards a little lift. Now, this, and I wanted to add this in because I know some of us struggle with our rollovers. This is how I learned my rollover, was to start with the legs in tabletop, extend. Now, I really want to work my deep abdominals here. I take a breath in, and I want to exhale, and think of a little bum lift. That you're reaching your toes up and over. The work is coming from your core, but also your breath, just to get that little lift. And that's where you might stay today. If you're feeling okay, you can come with me and we're going into our rollovers. Hold, you can separate. Now what I really want us to work towards is that we roll down with control and we don't just flop to the roller. Good. Bring them back again, together, and we go over. Separate the legs and then roll back down with control. Legs back together, we'll go for one more. Separate and then carefully roll down. Now coming off this, 1 foot down, 2nd foot down, lift your bum up, roll it out, and then you can roll away. Alright, we're going to come up to a seated position now, and we'll take it into a mermaid. So if you can sit in our Z-sit, that's great. If not, cross-legged or some bolsters under the right hip. Hands on the foam roller. I'm going to start by reaching up and over, finding that length through this left-hand side, and then coming back up. I'm allowing the roller to move closer and then further away from me. But I want to make sure, ideally, that this left hip shouldn't move too much. I'm going to hold here. I'm going to take both hands onto the roller. Now I'm going to add a little bit of flexion and extension. So I'm going to round into like an angry cat. And then I'm going to extend out and lift the sternum, shining my chest forward, and then drop the head as you round to come back. And then out. And lengthen. And then back in. And then we're going to change sides. Alright, so again, Z-sit, if this right hip isn't happy, pop something underneath your left hip, and we're going for our mermaid. So our lateral flexion or our side bends first. And as this time, let's add in some rotation. So we come up and over, we rotate both hands onto the roller. So we're rounding, dropping the head as we come up, then we roll out, and then we extend through the crown of the head, extend through the chest, and then come back in. Flexion, out into extension. Unravel. Good. And from here we're going to lie on our stomach and do some prone shoulder work. I really like this one, but if you do have limited shoulder mobility, please be careful. Sometimes you'll find it gets quite sore on this, so if so, get rid of the roller. I'm going to start with the wrists just resting on the roller, and I'm just hovering my nose off the ground. Here, I'm going to feel like I'm trying to reach the roller away from me and allowing my shoulders to shrug up near my ears. And then I'm going to glide the shoulders down my back. The shoulders glide up and the shoulders glide down. So it's elevation and depression. Elevation as we go up and depression as the shoulders draw down. Trying to keep the elbows relatively straight. The movement is all about the scapula, your shoulder blades. Alright, adding on now with a little bit of extension. I really like to start with the palms turned out. And it's going to be a shoulder exercise as well as our spine extension exercise. So I'm starting with the palms turned out. I'm going to roll the palms so that I come onto my pinky fingers. Then I'm going to press down through the fingers as I lengthen the crown of the head and curl up into extension. Inhale, and then I roll back down and allow the palms of the hands to roll, which rounds, or my shoulders then roll into internal rotation, and then I'm externally rotating, and then I lengthen through the crown of the head as I curl that spine into extension. The more you can press down pinky side of the hands allows you to connect with your lats more. Last one here. Good. And then we're going to come all the way back down. Give your shoulders a break if you need it. I'm going to do one more with your shoulders, which can be a bit fatiguing, is our pre-swimming. So if you're getting too tired, get rid of the roller and you can do it without the roller. From here, I want to focus on engaging my glutes, engaging my core. I'm going to lengthen and float my left leg, and I hover my right arm. Inhale as I come back down, and exhale, the opposite side will lift. So you can still think reaching long through the fingers and the toes, but I just don't want that shoulder blade gliding up near your ear. Now with our pre-swimming exercise, we are working the back of our shoulder, so our lat diagonally across our lower back into our glute and hamstring. So this is what we call our posterior oblique sling. And the last one here. Now let's press back into a child's pose, and it's always quite nice again if you want to use the roller, or you can do it without the roller. If you need to, just take your knees a little bit wider. Sometimes it's always that little bit easier for some of our stiffer hips. Alright, now from here, we're going into quadruped, and we have a couple of options. Firstly, we can have the challenge under our wrist. Now this is going to be challenging. Be mindful if you have compression on your wrist joint, this wouldn't be the best option for you. From here, we are going into our opposite arm and leg as we slide the arm and leg out and then bring it back in. Now at any time, you don't have to do both opposite arm and leg. You can do single arm, you could do single leg, you can do opposite arm and leg. Work to your level. Now, second variation is balancing on your knees. So I'm going to go that a little bit further with my hands. I slide the leg out and I extend the arm. And it is challenging. Again, that's my dodgy side, which I noticed when I was lying on the foam roller. I'll have to practice that more. Good job. And let's finish off with going into a little bit of a cat stretch. Now, as long as you don't have sore knees here sitting, being compressed, I start in a high kneeling position. I'm going to nod the head like a roll down. Now, as I've rolled down, I follow the foam roller out and I lift my chest. I drop my eye gaze and chest down, around, and I roll back up. And I nod the head around down and extend to come up. And last one. Lovely. And there you have your foam roller class. Enjoy.